Hello, in this video I'm going to be going over Boggy races the B. This race is honestly a lot of feeling based stuff and it just takes a lot of practice, but I do have a few guidelines that I'd like to mention that maybe help some people. So let's go. I'm just going to let the video play and then pause along the way a few bits to point out stuff. Taking off the beginning is easy, getting the first two is very easy. Second one you just turn a bit. It's pretty easy. Here what I like to do, I like to be a bit more to the left here. See how there's this little gap in between these two lines? I like to stay just a tiny bit to the right of this gap. Then when I go here, I go just over this corner. I find that if you take a sort of straight line towards here with a good angle like I'm about to do here, then it helps set up for the next part. And this hill section right here is, in my opinion, the hardest part. So what I like to do here is take a straight line towards here, which you do by staying far to the left earlier on. Here you sort of slightly turn to face almost the middle of these two slaloms. And then right before you reach, or right as you're reaching the middle of the slalom, you want to pretty much drastically turn to the right. Like right here. See how I'm facing really far to the right? You want to face really far to the right because now you want to you want to do the same thing basically. You want to go all the way here. You don't want to go here. You want to go here. But by the time you're at this point between these two slaloms, you should be facing towards these slaloms. See how here I'm facing towards the next slalom? That'll allow me to properly make it between those two. Then after here, you just drastically turn to the right. You can, so for this entire race, you should be holding B the entire time if you want to be optimal, but you can let go of B sometimes around the hill if it makes it a tiny bit easier to make it between each slalom, but I find that it can be risky sometimes. Also, it's worth mentioning, I press A right here. Right before I just touch the hill, basically. That's when I press A first time. Then right after you cross over this flat part is when you press A the second time. Then you shouldn't have to press A for a long while after that. Getting through these three are easy. Getting through this one is pretty easy. Over here, I would highly recommend you start facing down. So see how I'm holding straight up? I hold straight up only for like a second and a half. Then I let go of straight up and only tilt up a tiny bit, which will allow you to see down, see where the flags are. And you basically want to hold straight up because it'll allow you to see where you're going. It'll make you go a tiny bit slower, which will give you more control. It'll allow you to get these three flags easily because they change directions a lot. So basically, you face to the right, hold up, and then drastically turn to the left. Facing to the right, hold up, drastically turn to the left. Now, I keep flying in this direction for about a second and a half or so, or 2 seconds, like this. Like, I keep flying in that direction. Then just after a bit, this part's kind of feeling based, I just turn straight to the right a tiny bit to go to this gate. And it usually works. Now, these flags are pretty easy. You just have to stay over them and gradually turn. Flag is easy. Just make sure you're going over the middle of this bridge to get the flag that you can't see. This flag's easy, this flag is easy. Now here becomes difficult because you have to go here to here to here. This is where you would do the same thing, where you hold up to A, see where you're going, and B, have more control because you're slowing down a tiny bit. Hold up here, not fully, not the entire time, but hold up like halfway-ish and turn. And you have to do pretty drastic turns for all these ones. Like, you have to make really wide turns for these ones, like right here. To the point where, like, you're facing the entire direction. Like here, I'm facing this way entirely in order to make it to this slalom. This is what it looks like in fast motion. I hope that explanation was good enough. Facing down, left, right. Drastic turns. You want to really make sure it's better to overturn than to underturn most of the time, because when you overturn, you'll rarely miss the slalom, but if you underturn, you'll almost always cut it too close. Then the rest of here is easy. After you press A, you want to hold up a tiny bit, just because it retains speed a bit more. Press A once there. A again here. Hold up a bit for these turns as well, just to be safe. And then here, just mash A. You make as much distance as possible during the cutscene. And that should be it. So this race, I hope that was helpful. Mostly it'll come down to practice, but I hope I could give you a few guidelines that would help you in the future. That's about it. See you later. If you have any questions, ask me or anyone else. This is just the way I prefer to do it, so yeah.